Hi YouTube, this here is Megavergan, and right now I am comparing two constitutional amendments for the USA. The two that I'm going to be comparing to each other are the First and the 18th Amendments. I find both these amendments to be fairly interesting, and of course I find one of them to be useful and the other one to be, well, let's say the opposite of useful. But first I'll start with the First Amendment. This was the one that was useful. This grants basic freedoms, like freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom of expression and speech and stuff like that, and the right to assemble. It's just telling us like basic freedoms that we have as citizens. And though sometimes though, in some cases like like Schenck versus United States, where there was this guy named Schenck who was World War I was going around at the time, and so what happened basically was he was giving out flyers to soldiers or for guys going to, who could go to the army. He's trying to get them to not join, and that was freedom of speech, but apparently the Supreme Court limited it, which that I don't like. And so that's one way that I feel they were being unconstitutional with this amendment and not using it. And I just find that to be messed up. And so, yet also I have some other theories to say too. Not theories, but more fact. If we were to really follow this amendment, we'd have a separation of church and state, which they say we do, but I really don't think we do, in my opinion. Because there's stuff like under God in the Pledge of Allegiance and stuff like in God we trust on our money, which really, I really don't like that. I really think it's extremely unconstitutional and it's just not being fair. It's only appealing to those who believe in God. And not even those who believe in God would like it, of course. But anyway, that's the First Amendment. There's been some other controversy stuff too. Now I'll go to the bad one. This is the 18th Amendment. This amendment was prohibition of alcohol. Now, I don't really agree with any type of prohibition, really, unless if it's like prohibition with like drugs that are actually like really bad. Like alcohol, it doesn't really have like, it's not really it's not healthy, but it's not too terrible. Kind of similar to marijuana, in my opinion. I don't think marijuana's terrible either. But even though because it does have some medical purposes. Yet, for the 18th Amendment, though, what happened here was the government basically tried to ban alcohol, in which they did. They banned the sale of alcohol. Yet, it didn't work because so many people went to speakeasies, which are illegal bars, and they're and that's basically what led to organized crime and with the mafias and stuff like that. So really, it's one of the worst things that happened to this country was the 18th Amendment, because it led to organized crime, trying to restrict someone of doing something to themselves, really. I mean, and alcohol doesn't make someone abusive all the time. I mean, I can understand why they would do that to make it illegal, but seriously though, it's not helping. And here's another part. So what? Well, so what? The First Amendment is also the first of the first 10, or is also the first of the 10 Bill of Rights, and it's basically something that is highly valued in the government today. While the 18th Amendment is definitely remembered, but it's not highly valued. It was repealed by the 21st in the year 1933, I believe. And so yeah, basically, the foundation of of our freedoms. It's basically what makes America America, in my opinion, from the First Amendment. Because Like, not all other places have these rights. But thing is, I just wish that these rights would actually apply completely, like absolute rights. Because I don't think that they do, even though they should. Like, there needs to be a separation of church and state, because that is actually what it means. Freedom of religion not only means like you're free to practice it without being persecuted, but it also demands a separation of church and state. It actually says that in the Constitution itself under commentary. Well, anyway, I'm Mega Vergan, and thank you for watching.